How does it make you feel? That's when I put that in. And immediately, before they've even had time, when you ask them, I've noticed this, if you give them space after, how does it make you feel? They're searching, some of them are searching for an excuse to say it's horrible, but justify it in the same sentence. Some are completely honest and say it's disgusting, it's horrible. If they're doing the thinking, if they say it's horrible straight away, the next thing you say is, does it make you hungry? We know the reaction. They've already said it's horrible. Of course it doesn't. That person who you asked first and said, how does it make you feel? And they're, oh, well, that's when you hit them straight away. Before they've even given you an answer. Does it make you hungry? No. That's their initial, straight out. That's negated all their excuse on the how does it make you feel. It's got rid of that. So it doesn't make you hungry. So why are you buying it? Remember that word hungry through the outreach. Remember that effect it had on them. Once they've said, it's horrible, it's disgusting, is it safe to assume you're against this? You're against animal abuse? Of course they're going to say yes. Do you think this is animal abuse? If this was happening to you, would it be abusive? They can do nothing but agree. So, does it make you hungry? The reason I ask you to remember that word hungry, at any point, I got this from Sorab. He called it hardwiring them to the word hungry. I want to make them remember this footage they're looking at and what they said. It doesn't make them hungry. Remind them 2 or 3 times through the outreach. Just throw it in there. Remember, it doesn't make you hungry. Yeah. Because when they leave that conversation, whether they're going to be vegan or not, I nearly said go vegan, whether they're going to be vegan or not, they're going to remember that. The next time they're walking through the door into McDonald's, you want them to remember this doesn't make them hungry. And they'll walk in and see a McPlant and buy that. Maybe I'll try it. My mate Dave had it the other day. It was all right. That's what we've got to try and hardwiring them. Each time they feel hungry, we want them to remember a cow getting a bolt gun, a chicken going through the electric water bath, getting their throats cut. That's what we want them to remember when they think they're hungry. That will make them vegan. We know when to ask that. Do you eat meat, dairy, eggs? When they're on the back foot, they know they're guilty. We know they eat meat, dairy, eggs. That's why they're looking like that. And here we come to the crunch. What do you think you can do about it as an individual? They'll come up with all sorts of scenarios. Change the government, fix the farmers, it should be more humane. Should be more humane. And I say, well, this is already humane. This is what they call humane. I asked one guy, he was an engineer, young student, 20-ish, going for some mechanical engineering, highly qualified. He said, it's horrible. He said, there should be a better way. And I said, well, how about this? You stop paying for it until they create a better way. I said, you're an engineer. He's already told me that in a conversation. You create a better way. You're an engineer. You can make yourself millions. I gave him an option to try and make it better for the animals. I said, or you could just be vegan. And you've got to nail them on each time. Have an answer for them. Innovate. Pull anything out. And if they ever give you an excuse that you can't handle, there's a few things that we do know. We can live, thrive, and be happy on a vegan diet. We know that. We don't need to wear their skin, wear their wool and all the rest. We don't need to eat them. So you can say, even if that were true, you said this didn't make you hungry. You said this is wrong. Bring them back to the beginning. Don't forget what they said on that initial viewing of the footage. They didn't like it. They're now trying to find excuses. What do you think you can do about this? Oh, well, here was a guy, mid-50s. I went peer-to-peer at a cube in Royal Arcade. He's leaning against the window. He looked really difficult, high-hanging fruit. Mid-50s guy. Turned out he was 62, a bit older than me. And I've gone over to him. Hey, mate, said, how does it make you feel? He goes, oh, that's really bad. The pigs were being killed. It was they were in the slaughterhouse, hanging up from the chains, and he was shaking his head. And I said, how does it make you feel? He said, oh, it's pretty bad. He said, that's pretty awful. I said, what do you reckon you could do about it? And he said, well, what I don't understand is how you're going to change 500 million middle-class Chinese from paying for this. He said, how are you going to change that, man? He said, that's impossible. He's gone off to China. I'm in Melbourne, in Burke Street. I said, mate, we've got activists in China. We're talking to those 500 million. But right now, today, I'm talking to you. We're in Melbourne. This is happening in Laverton, just over the bridge. We were on the gas chambers on the screen. I said, you know they use gas chambers? I probably got him to 90 points. He didn't commit to being vegan. I changed his whole perspective. I think he went to government changing laws after the Chinese bit. I said, mate, you've got to change yourself. Before you expect the government to change, no government changes before the people change. The government didn't just wake up 110 years ago where it was and say, hey, do you know what? I think we'll give women the vote this week. They didn't do that. It took the strong women out here. I can see half a dozen right here. It took women like you to make change. You didn't stand at the side of the pavement going, we want the vote. You stood in the street. You changed yourself up. I don't know enough about it. I'm sure there's a few people that do. And you made a difference. That's how we get a difference. That's how we get a vegan world. By making statements, upsetting people if we have to, showing the truth. They don't like the truth. We know that. A really good question is, who do you think is paying for this? The supermarkets, yeah, and who pays the supermarket? They're trying to avoid accountability here. You are. Your money goes to these places. And I've had a new saying in the last couple of weeks. I used it last week to great effect. I want you all to try this today. Each time, and the language is important, the word wallet indicates their money. Each time you open your wallet and pay for animal products, you are telling the slaughterhouse to do it again. And when you're faced with that on a screen, it worked last week. I had 3 people thank me, asked my name, and shook my hand. And I think it was those 3 I used it. I used it on others. It's effective. Each time you open your wallet and pay for animal products, you are telling the slaughterhouse to do it again. Supply. 2 people said, yeah, supply demand. Exactly. They know how supply demand works. They think we're going to keep killing cows and chickens and sheep when the world's gone vegan. That's what some of them try to think. That's one of their excuses. So when they say that, did Holden keep making cars and nobody was buying them? Did JVC keep making VHS recorders when no one was buying them? No. They just stopped. They changed. There we go. I got to it. What's stopping you from being vegan today? Changing your lifestyle today? We're here to help you. That's when you maybe show the card. We're here to help you. You can change your lifestyle. What you do next, if someone is just giving excuses, you can ask them, are you trying to find an alternative or just an excuse? We're here to give you alternatives, and all you've given me is excuses. And yet at the beginning you said it doesn't make you hungry, you said it's wrong, things have got to change. And now you've given me 2, 3, 4 excuses, which I've answered, and you've given me another one. Here we go, excuses. I'll try and get through these quickly. How can just me going vegan make a difference? And I've had that many times, and you say it makes a difference to you. It means they are not paying for it anymore. Remember, you told me it doesn't make you hungry. You said it's wrong. So you don't have to pay for it. So keep reminding them of that beginning. That's the difference they make. That chicken that they don't buy is one whole life, one whole existence. A chicken in a supermarket that's $11. A whole life. It's worth $11 retail. It's disgusting. I worked at the supermarket and we threw them out after 3 or 4 days. I used to cry. I used to open the bin to throw my produce out, and there was so many dead animal parts in there. It was sad. Jobs of animal farmers. They don't care about jobs of animal farmers. They just think they're going to lose something. They didn't care about the Holden workers, the Kodak workers. Everyone forgot about them 20 years ago. Everyone went and bought a digital camera, didn't they? 800 workers in Melbourne lost their jobs. Anyone give a damn? No, nothing. Anyone go and protest outside a milk bar that gets closed down because of 7-Eleven opened? No. That person loses everything, probably lost their house. Video shops, they lost everything overnight when Netflix and YouTube and internet. They had thousands of DVDs, videos. What do they do with them? They lost their houses. They had their lives, their business in it. These people you're talking to in the street, they don't give a damn about jobs. They give a damn about their own job and what they're going to eat. It's another excuse. Top of the food chain. I had a good one last week, didn't I, Jot? Top of the food chain. He was a big fella, wasn't he? 6'8". We're top of the food chain. I said, well, go out to Serengeti. I said, you can even take a weapon if you want. It won't last a week. Go and jump in the water off South Australia. Go and have a chat with a great white shark and tell him you're at the top of the food chain. This food chain, it was manufactured by humans. A factory farm isn't part of the food chain. Putting your arm up the cow's ass is not part of the food chain. There you go. I respect what you do. No, they don't. No, they don't respect us. They hate us if they're saying that. They respect us to say nothing to them. Just don't accept it. I've done that to people. I don't accept it. I'll accept it when you become vegan. Free range and organic. It's the same as all the rest. We've just shown you that on the screen. They can research. The RSPCA at any point, I've done this many times, not in an outreach, but I do it at home when I'm messing around online. You can just do a quick Google, RSPCA, male chicks, egg industry. Bang, the whole page comes up. RSPCA, male calves, dairy industry. The whole page comes up. It's a link to their page. Just get it out, show them. Any of those practices, piglet thumping, the most disgusting thing ever thought of. Bring it up. Piglet thumping, blunt force trauma. Pick them up by the hind legs, smash them on the ground. Tell them. That's what happens. The testicle removal, testicles, teeth, tail. I did that in the video. The look on their face. These people don't know this happens. They just don't know. And they don't really want to be a part of it, but they're addicted to bacon. So we've got to get them off that addiction. We've got to get them addicted to being good. Taste good. We sort of covered that. Tasteitarians. Does taste justify taking a life? And at that point, they might say you're valuing animals over humans. No, we're not. We're valuing an animal's life over a human's taste pleasure. You're not going to die if you don't eat that chicken. The chicken has to die for you to eat the chicken. Always remember that, especially online. If you're in Facebook comments, covering Facebook comments, get in there. To avoid the stress, I used to get in depth and my blood pressure was up, I couldn't sleep, I'm worrying about some twat on the other side of the world who's laughing at me. Get in there, say something meaningful, factual, and get out. Even block it if you want. Just get out. Say something meaningful. Sell some truth. And if you want to have a play with it later, you can. I often do that now, and my blood pressure stays the same, and I laugh at them, laughing at me. Circle of life, another manufactured. Some people refer it to the Lion King. It was invented there. I think it's been around, that term, circle of life. The great Gary again, he says, how come the circle of life term only applies when it's an animal killed? When there's a hiker walking through the forest and a black bear kills him, the family of the hiker, they don't go, oh, well, it's the circle of life. He went into the forest with the bear. No, they send a posse out to kill this murderous bear because someone invaded his territory. Same in Australia with these sharks. One person gets a bite on the leg. Well, they get killed. To us, it is the circle of life. You went in there and became lunch. When I see those posts, I write the circle of life. What do they do in Australia? Send 100 boats out to try and kill some shark they don't even know that killed somebody or bit somebody. We've been doing this for thousands of years. Well, isn't it time we evolved and stopped doing this? Why don't we still live in a cave? We did that thousands of years ago. I never saw a picture of a salad on a cave wall. I never saw a picture of a mobile phone on a cave wall either, or an airplane, or a motorcycle, or a car, or a house. They pick one thing that our ancestors did. Back then, caveman used to club his neighbour over the head with a big log if he stepped over into his property. Probably took his wife home, pulled her by her hair and raped her whenever he wanted. That's what caveman did. You want to live like caveman? When you go to the dentist, here's a good one. I've just discovered this one lately. When you go to the dentist, ask him this. Do you tell him that you're caveman? You know, just treat me like caveman. I'm a caveman. I don't need anaesthetic. Get your big pliers and your chisel and your hammer and knock my teeth out. Don't push your beliefs on us. We all know how to deal with that, hopefully.